We've got a lot to talk about today because while the Knicks are coming off the emotional high of winning the NBA Cup, Ian Begley just dropped some very real names that the Knicks are monitoring on the trade market, specifically at the center position. At the same time, New York is walking into a classic trap game tonight at Indiana with half of the rotation questionable, multiple guys out, and an opportunity for young players like Tyler Kolek and the other guys like Diawara and Pacom Dadie, even Hukporti, to either stabilize things or make things louder. And I would say it is likely that Yabusele would get some minutes tonight, so it's interesting to see what he can do in that time. Because look, I'm all for him getting some minutes on a consistent basis, but during those minutes, he has to show that he's in shape and he's doing the things that we ask for him to do. But today we're breaking down the big men that Ian Begley says the Knicks are looking at, how realistic each option actually is, why the trade noise may slow down after Vegas, and what to watch for in tonight's Pacers game. Let's get into it. First things first, credit where it's due. These names are coming directly from Ian Begley, one of the most connected reporters around the Knicks. This is not random trade machine stuff, this is who the Knicks are at least taking the temperature on. The first player is Andre Drummond. Begley said the Knicks have viewed Drummond favorably in the past, and that matters. This isn't new interest. New York has wanted to take a run at Drummond in previous off seasons, as Begley pointed out, and when you look at the situation now, it kind of makes sense on paper. Drummond is making about $5 million and is on an expiring contract this year. Yabusele is making around $5.5 million, but does have a player option for next year, but the money does work. Maybe you do need to add a second round pick as a sweetener from the Knicks side. But here's the reality check. That would mean Yabu going back to Philly immediately after leaving. Drummond helps on the glass but clogs spacing, and the Knicks already dominate the offensive boards when Mitch is healthy. This feels more like a check the temperature call than a move that they're rushing into. Now moving on to the second player, and this is a recent Knick, and that is Precious Achiuwa. This one's interesting. Ian Begley said that a quote reunion in the cards, I don't know but I wonder. And that is the key phrase, I wonder. Precious already knows the system, he's versatile, switchable, and doesn't need touches. A theoretical deal could be Yabusele plus 1 or 2 second rounders with a salary filler like Doug McDermott. But again, this is about depth insurance, not a headline move. If the Knicks think that they just need someone to soak up minutes on nights like tonight, Precious fits that mold. I'll also add that it would be interesting to see how Mike Brown utilizes Precious because they'll probably be different than how Tibbs used him. Now moving on to the third player, and that is Dario Saric, also from the Kings. This is the quietest name and probably the most realistic. Begley framed Saric as someone who can play a very small role, and that tells you everything. This would be a straight Yabu for Saric swap money-wise, and it gives New York a stretch big who can survive spot minutes without demanding anything. No splash, no drama, just a chess move. Now, the fourth and final player that Ian Begley mentioned as a big man would be Daniel Gafford. This is the bigger one. Now, this is the one that fans get emotional about, and I will explain why. First of all, Ian Begley originally thought that Gaffford might be available, but it does sound like Dallas still wants to compete, which probably takes him off the table at least for now. But in this case, a deal would likely have to involve Mitchell Robinson due to salary, plus Yabusele, and maybe with Dwight Powell coming back. And I'm gonna be clear here, I personally would not do it, but I would understand the Knicks thinking if they do consider this. And I think it's because Mitchell Robinson is on an expiring contract this year, and the Knicks might not be comfortable with extending him long term. Not due to his undeniable talent, but more so because he is not the most available player. Although to give credit where it's due, Mitchell Robinson so far thankfully has been relatively healthy this season. And Daniel Gafford is someone who's on a long-term deal making around $14 million this season. Now the difference between Mitch and Daniel Gafford is obvious. Mitchell Robinson's offensive rebounding is irreplaceable. 10 offensive boards in the cup final tells you everything. That's playoff level value. With Gafford, he's less of a dominant rebounder but more of an offensively gifted center. But I think unless the Knicks are blown away with an offer, Mitch is not someone that you move lightly. Now here's the picture that nobody wants to admit. The Knicks just won the NBA Cup, Tyler Kolek just had a breakout moment, Jordan Clarkson stabilized the bench, Mitch dominated the glass. That matters. These last 2 games in Vegas absolutely will cool the trade urgency. The front office now has the evidence that the rotation can survive high leverage moments. That does not mean that trades are off the table, but it does mean that the panic is gone. Now let's quickly touch on tonight's game and the opportunity that it brings. First of all, the injury report. Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, and Mitchell Robinson are all questionable. And Deuce McBride and Landry Shamet are still out. This has trap game written all over it. Indiana's record does not matter. This is the classical emotional letdown spot after Vegas. But here's the flip side. This game is an opportunity showcase for many players. Tyler Kolek could get some real minutes again tonight. Yabusele needs to steady himself. Hakporty, Diawara, and Pacome could sneak some minutes in, possibly Trey Jemison as well as a center, maybe even Tosan depending on who rests. These games matter more than fans realize. This is where the front office decides. Can we survive without making a move? So yes, the Knicks are monitoring big men. Yes, the names are being discussed, but after Vegas, this team earned patience. Now, Knicks fans, let me know in the comments which big man you would actually want, and do you think that trade talk should slow down after what we just saw? And as always, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and sub to the channel for more Knicks news and updates you will not want to miss. It's been KNYT here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.